Tonight, the region's health system dominates today's election campaigning, and South Australia's road toll rises, with a man killed in a crash near Port Augusta.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with John Hunt begins now.
Good evening. The state government have announced they will invest $26 million into upgrading the Port Pirie Hospital if re-elected. The money will go towards building a brand new emergency department, helping house more patients.
Fixing one of Port Pirie's biggest issues. The Health Minister and Deputy Premier are pledging to solve long wait times by expanding the emergency department capacity by 50%.
Be significantly improved in terms of the facilities within the emergency department, particularly in terms of infection control and in terms of behavioural management.
The car park will be upgraded along with the installation of a mental health unit, which will allow patients to stay at the hospital for a short amount of time.
Very, very important when people need, really acute support for mental health issues. They can stay right here in Port Pirie rather than get sent away.
The Liberals also promising to build a new medical imaging unit so patients don't have to travel to Adelaide. They will also address the recent structural issues that had MRI machines being rebalanced each time after its use.
The concerns about the operation of the MRI machine are very much part of a complete upgrade to the medical imaging opportunities.
The state government planned to retain GPs by offering them a $50,000 sign-up bonus, but hasn't specified if Port Pirie will get more paramedics.
It's incredibly disappointing, today's announcement, that it announced nothing more for the ambulance service within the region, which is so desperately needed. Port Pirie currently has 2 ambulances operating out of it.
Christian Komenos, 7 Spencer Golf News.
SA Best are calling for more to be done to get specialists into the region's hospitals. Their candidate for Giles says Port Augusta and Whyalla residents shouldn't have to travel for services that would be deemed essential elsewhere.
A tale of 2 cities, each struggling for specialists. SA Best holding pop-up meetings in Whyalla and Port Augusta, allowing local residents to voice their opinions on the state of their health system. Candidates say the prognosis is not good.
There are significant issues in Whyalla and also here in Port Augusta, and you have a situation now, particularly with newborns, having to be ferried from Whyalla to Port Augusta for emergency treatment.
Torn away from its mother, leaving the mother behind and bringing it to Port Augusta because we don't have any full-time paediatricians in Whyalla. That is not acceptable.
SA Best says the problem goes both ways, with many Port Augusta residents forced to travel to Whyalla for cancer treatment.
We've got an $80 million hospital in Whyalla that's been built, but we've got no drivers, we've got no specialists, we've got no doctors, we've got a lack of nurses. It's not acceptable. Port Augusta needs to have the same sort of people here 24/7.
The Marshall Liberal government is committed to making sure that healthcare services are as close to home as possible for country South Australians.
Mr Pangello criticising both major parties, claiming their promises aren't outlining how to bring qualified specialists to the region.
We've announced as part of our policy an incentive to get graduates to move into the regions and also particularly into this part of the state.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Golf News.
And nursing students will soon be able to do their practical training in the Mid-North in a bid to attract more graduates to work locally. The new program securing support from both the state government and the opposition.
Another health issue, another election pledge. The state government will invest $1 million to make Port Pirie Hospital the centre for nurse training across the region. In a collaboration with UniHub, more than 200 students will pass through in the first 10 years.
So that local people can be trained locally and then stay living and working locally. So we have local people trained and then providing medical health services for decades to come.
This will allow students to stay in Pirie for the majority of their degree, cutting their travel and accommodation expenses.
But they can't always go away to Adelaide for training, and that's quite understandable. So we want to make sure that it's not only the nursing training, which is already delivered in theory through UniHub, but can also be delivered in practice.
The program will also provide further training for multiple medical professions.
So allied health professionals, even paramedics and potentially even GPs or doctors who are medical students who are out in the region on placement.
The initiative getting backing from both sides.
We've certainly had some commitments also from the Labor candidate for Stuart Andrew Wright, and we're really very pleased.
Christian Cominos, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
South Australia's road toll has risen to 14 following a crash near Port Augusta last night. Emergency services were called to the Augusta Highway at 7 o'clock following reports of a head-on crash. The driver of a Hyundai sedan died at the scene, while the driver of the other car, a 57-year-old local man, was taken to the Port Augusta Hospital for treatment. The Augusta Highway was closed for several hours before reopening this morning. A 63-year-old Port Lincoln man has been charged with drug trafficking after being caught with a quantity of cocaine and cannabis. Just before 4 p.m. on Thursday, Kyle police stopped a grey Mazda on the Lincoln Highway for a mobile test. Police also searched the man's home, allegedly finding cannabis materials and a rifle classified as a prescribed firearm. The man was bailed to appear in the Whyalla Magistrates Court next month. Still to come tonight, pre-polling for the state election gets underway, and 3 Tumby Bay locals preparing for the ride of a lifetime. Welcome back. Amid the election campaigning, pre-poll voting has now opened across the Spencer Gulf. South Australia's Electoral Commission has asked residents to plan ahead for voting. Mark Zeta has more.
Pre-poll voting has now opened across the region, with greater access being offered to accommodate varying voter schedules.
The Electoral Commissioner saying they have seen a 5.4% increase in the number of enrolments since the last election. More than 10,000 new voters added to the roll in February alone.
We're really pleased with the amount of people who have updated their enrolment details but are also new on the electoral roll and will be voting for the first time.
There will be 7 pre-polling centres located across the Spencer Gulf, including here at the TAFE campus at Whyalla Norrie. Voters encouraged to bring their Easy Vote cards when they go to the polls. It will be open from today from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. with extended hours on Thursdays.
Now, 37 early voting centres are open till 8 p.m. on both those Thursdays over the next 2 weeks, so it's a late night voting option.
In addition, those who are COVID positive can pick up a voting pack at selected PCR and RAT test sites from Thursday, March 17 to Election Day. Applications for postal voting must be submitted before March 17.
Early voting will continue right up to Election Day on Saturday, March 19.
Spencer Gulf community stepped up yesterday, participating in various Clean Up Australia Day events. In Port Augusta, there was an opportunity for residents to also get rid of some of the large waste filling up their backyards.
Getting their hands dirty on Clean Up Australia Day. Port Augusta's local landscape board joining forces with community groups in 4 locations across the city.
We need to be always looking at pick up a piece of plastic, put it in a bin, stops it getting our waterways, stops it killing our wildlife.
The clean-up helping to protect birds and sea life that regularly become entangled in large plastic items or ingest enough microplastics to eventually kill them.
You know, I think it brings it to people's forefront, but also we need to do it all the time, not just, you know, one day a year.
Port Augusta City Council also placing skip bins in high foot traffic areas such as the foreshore, boat ramp and city entrance. Residents also had the chance to bring trailers filled with rubbish to the local transfer station and dispose of it at no cost to them.
It's good for our community. It will help people dispose of the rubbish that's been building up the yard, and we understand their concerns of the cost to dispose of that rubbish.
The free event, an attempt to reduce illegal dumping. Conservationists warning even rubbish dumped out bush finds its way into the Gulf.
The impacts are beyond belief. You only need is a quick Google search to have a look at the impacts of plastics across the globe.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
A group of Tumby Bay locals are setting out on a journey to complete the Tasmanian Trail. Three mates will ride more than 400 kilometres through the state in an attempt to raise awareness for the local Parkinson's disease support group.
It will be no easy feat for best mates Stephen, Gary and Charles, but their up-and-coming bike ride is for a worthy cause.
So we're leaving Port Lincoln on the 16th, flying direct to Devonport, Tasmania. It's over a 500-kilometre bike ride to the Central Highlands of Tasmania.
Tash Clark was diagnosed at 35 with young onset Parkinson's and has since worked tirelessly helping others in the local support group. Now it's the community's turn to give back.
Steve Hibbert was the one that had approached me to fundraise, which it was very emotional because I can't believe that somebody can give back.
The 11 days, 480-kilometre ride starts from Devonport in the north and will finish in Dover.
We get up to some fairly high country, some quite cold country, and nearly every day we're going up and down hills.
The trio completed a similar ride last year, but are hoping this one will make a difference.
I've got friends that are suffering and have suffered from Parkinson's, so it's a really good cause.
Tash and the group really work hard fundraising, and we're just trying to help them support to bring a greater awareness to Parkinson's.
To support Tash and the team, visit the support group's website. Henry Millick, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us. Port Lincoln animal lovers encouraged to consider adopting. And a Whyalla sculpture wins big at the National Street Art Awards. Pet Adoption Month is in full swing, with thousands of animals looking for a new home across the Eyre Peninsula. Port Lincoln Pet Stock will once again assist in changing the lives of rescue pets across the region.
Furry friends in search for their forever homes. Port Lincoln witnessing a surge in cats looking for new owners.
So for Port Lincoln, our main focus is helping get cats and kittens adopted, because it is a big problem for Port Lincoln, is the stray cats, and kitten season there's a lot available through our RSPCA.
The organisation working with the RSPCA to get pets ready for adoption.
All kittens and cats are desexed, microchipped, vaccinated, up to date with parasite prevention, so a lot of those responsible pet ownership aspects have already been done for the new owner.
Every year, 80,000 cats are euthanised by councils. This year's Adoption Month campaign hoping to combat this, giving people the chance to become foster carers.
The RSPCA is always looking for foster carers, so taking in either young kittens that aren't ready for adoption yet, or cats that need a little bit more care before they're ready to be adopted.
Saturday the 19th of March marked down as Adoption Day, with the RSPCA and Pet Stock teaming up from 10 until 2 to promote the cause. One lucky kitten already given the all clear to find a new home.
This is Sammy. He was one of a litter of 6, so he's a beautiful boy available for adoption at the moment.
Henry Millick, 7 Spencer Golf News.
An accessible cuttlefish display in Whyalla has been named the gold winner at the Australian Street Art Awards. Affectionately known as Craig, the sculpture was designed by Karen Carr, also known as Squash Cocky. The award recognises 3D artworks on permanent display that have been specifically created for the space they adorn. Broken Hill's Outback Letterbox Library is helping people in remote areas access vital resources, servicing far west New South Wales and parts of South Australia. The program covers more than 230,000 square kilometres.
Making sure people far and wide are informed and entertained. The Outback Letterbox Library is a free service, sending books, DVDs and iPads to subscribers. Going to places such as Menindee, Ivanhoe, Wilcannia and Wentworth. They even send library material across the border.
Outback Letterbox Library delivers library materials to members who are in the far east of South Australia, so O'Leary, Yunta, all the way across as far east as Brewarrina.
Most families sign up to the service when their children are young. Also approaching governesses are when they head out to the regions. They also send out posters and information to small community hubs.
People to be eligible have to live at least an hour away from the Broken Hill City Library, and many people don't live near a town or a library.
Some have been using the service for many years. Jane Smith, who lives on Scarsdale Station, has been a member for nearly 2 decades.
Get our mail delivered by mail plane from Broken Hill once a week, and the library books just come straight out with our mail, so it's delivered literally right to our doorstep.
For more details, contact Broken Hill City Library. Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us. After the break, we have all the weekend's local cricket action and scores. And Alex Sykes will have the local weather forecast. Hello again. The owners of Splash Some Cash will be glad they did just that after the horse won the Port Lincoln Cup late Friday afternoon. The 6-year-old gelding surged to the front early on, opening up a commanding lead on the back part of the course. Jockey Sophie Logan holding off a fast-finishing field to win the feature race.
Dexter Udell's got a lift for history. Splash Some Cash will deny him though, and Splash Some Cash takes out the cup.
The David Page trained horse paid $8.20 for the win. West Broken Hill are the Barrier District Cricket Premiers after winning a thrilling grand final. The club breaking a 10-year drought, also sending a club stalwart out a winner. Here's Josh Mercer with this week's Cricket Wrap.
The A-grade grand final in Broken Hill came down to the wire, with West beating minor Premier Central by 6 runs at Alma Oval on Saturday. West batsmen Matt Hamburg and Max Everest were the best, with Everest top scoring with 48 runs. Hamburg was awarded the Bill Bergman Medal for Player of the Finals, taking 3 for 26 and having a good knock with the bat as well. Co-captain Lawrence Hebard also starring at the ball, taking 2 for 15. For Central, Adam Rose top scored with 36 runs and David O'Malley took 3 for 15. The game came down to the last couple of balls, with Central needing more than 6 runs to win. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be for Jared Paul and his men. Paul Atard finishing his A-grade career a winner after 30 years, next to sons Mackenzie and Padrick. Elsewhere, Port Lincoln wrapped up its final round. Southern Air took out the minor premiership, beating Waybacks by 1 run. Ben Smith topped the run count with 57, while Tom Morgan finished with 39, not out. Archer Petzel taking 3 for 15 for the winners. The other game saw Charlton defeat Tasman by 33 runs. Trevor Matheson top scoring for Charlton with 47. Moving over to Port Pirie now, and Propriety have booked a spot in the grand final. Terence Pellegrini made 44 runs, while Austin Waters continued his good form, scoring 41. Propriety will play Wandera this Saturday. In Whyalla cricket, North Whyalla beat Rapina in a close contest, while Central Whyalla dominated West Whyalla, winning by 183 runs. Scott Collison scoring a half-century for the Centrals. And that's all for this weekend's cricket. We will return tomorrow night with a wrap-up of the region's other sports.
Time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather across the region. With all the details, it's good evening to Alex Sykes.
And good evening to you, John, and our viewers tonight. It wasn't a bad way to start the week with mainly fine conditions across the Gulf. At 3 p.m, Whyalla was mostly sunny and 23. Broken Hill was also mostly sunny and 29, and Port Pirie reached 25 degrees. Looking further out across the region now, Port Augusta was mostly sunny and 26. Port Lincoln reached 22. Our friends in Adelaide were partly cloudy and reached 25. Woodnor was mostly sunny and 27. Kadina and Cleve were both 22. Clare was 23. Cooper Pedy was sunny and 30 degrees. Taking a look at the satellite image now, patchy cloud over the far south in onshore winds is not bringing any rain. Meanwhile, high cloud further north is also not bringing rain. Clear skies across the north and northwest under a high pressure system and a drier air mass. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Southerly winds 15 to 20 knots, seas 1 to 2 metres. And there will be south to southwesterly swell around 1 1 metre. A marine wind warning remains current across the Gulf. Looking at tomorrow's temperatures now, cloudy across the region. Port Lincoln and Cleve are both set to reach a high of 21 degrees, Woodnor to top 26, Whyalla and Kadina both 25, Port Augusta be mostly sunny and is set to reach a high of 26 degrees. Port Pirie mostly sunny and 29, Clare 24, and Broken Hill be mostly sunny and is set to reach a high of 27 degrees. Taking a look further through the week now, and it's set to be sunny across the top end of the region, partly cloudy elsewhere. Cooper Pedy will have the region's top of 31, Port Lincoln to reach just 22. Similar conditions forecast for Thursday, sunny for Cooper Pedy, Port Augusta, Port Pirie and Broken Hill, partly cloudy across everywhere else. 32 will be the region's top, 23 the low. And sunny for Cooper Pedy, Port Augusta and Broken Hill on Friday, cloudy conditions across the rest of the Gulf. So John, it's looking like a mighty fine week weather-wise with not a drop of rain in sight. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. It's back to you.
Thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Monday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later, and we will return tomorrow at 7 p.m. Until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.